I'm going to show you something using a borrowed matchstick straight from the 1990s. And I'll place that between my thumb and index finger like this. And we'll also use a rubber band, again, between my thumb and index finger. Now watch. We know that if I was to move my fingers apart, I would drop the matchstick. And I can't get the wood to melt through the rubber. That is, unless I use a bit of magic. Now watch this. Watch the matchstick. If I just wave back and forth just like this, it'll actually melt to the first strand of the band. Watch again. If I just wave my hand back and forth, it'll actually visually melt all the way through. Watch one more time. It's between the two strands. It's stuck there. It's essentially locked. You can see that. Watch as it melts up through 1 and 2 all the way to the very top. And you can hand these straight back to the 90s.
Yo, 6,000 damn subscribers. Thank you. I can't believe 6,000 subscribers and we've been going since, what, December? It's now February. Blows my mind. Thank you to each and every one of you, but I know what you're here for. You're here to learn that trick that you just seen at the beginning. I called it track back. I actually posted it in 2017 on my Instagram. I don't know if you can see that. I called it track back. I don't know what I was thinking, and I also used a toothpick back then, but it's a simple piece of magic based on a classic, and it's always nice to have these simple, for most of you probably impromptu, but if you're like me, then you may need to have a little something extra, which you will have anyway. But it's always great to have these like little simple visual sort of like piece of magic that you can carry with you for the rest of your life. So grab a matchstick or a toothpick and a rubber band and get ready to learn track back. Oh, and if you haven't done so already, if you're not one of the first 6,000 in through the gates, then hit that bloody subscribe button, please, because the more people that watch, the more videos I'll make. It's really that simple. So hit that subscribe button and drop me a like if you would like the effect that you're about to learn. I still can't get used to filming these.
So, some of you are going to be able to do this impromptu because depending on the moisture of your hands, you'll be able to do this like the classic matchstick through matchstick effect. Now, if you do have the right moisture, then you won't need to do what I do, because I have really dry hands, which is to apply like a little bit of a sticky sort of substance to the tip of your index finger. So, for a lot of you out there, you don't need to do this, but for some of you, you might need to take something like a glue stick or a chapstick, or for extra care, you can use a tiny bit of rubber cement that you let dry, and all you're going to do is basically just dab it onto the tip of your finger to make it sticky. But as with the classic matchstick effect, it relies on the end of the matchstick becoming sticky, and when you push hard enough into your finger, so I'm applying a lot of pressure here, you'll see that the end of the matchstick, which has the chemical on it, is sticky, so you can move it off your hands and it'll stick like that for a brief amount of time. So if depending on the moisture in your skin, you may need to add some sticky substance or just keep it natural. Via the magic of the internet, the matchstick is back in my hand. So grab yourself a matchstick and figure out whether you feel comfortable doing it without using your the tip of your index finger with some sticky material or not. And then you just generally need the matchstick and a rubber band. That's it. It's really simple. So in the classic matchstick through matchstick effect, what you would do is hold the matchstick with the lightable end here at the top, and you'd squeeze it together, and as you'd go 1, 2, 3 quickly, you would just move the matchstick apart from the thumb and it would link through. So I'll sort of show you that exposed if I can. So the classic one from the above view, if you imagine this is a matchstick, if you would go 1, 2, and you try and aim it so your audience can't see, and as you come down you would literally move out the way, okay, and that would link them, and then you'd again do the same in reverse. And this is essentially the same thing, but inspired by Akira Fuji's Lincoln cigarettes, which doesn't it's not held in this way and you can't do it at the exact fingertips like this. I use a rubber band because I think it's interesting to explore classic effects using different objects. And by using a rubber band, it gives you this great aesthetic of the matchstick being able to go down 1-2 strands at a time and then back up, sort of like it penetrates through in stages. And what I've done is also change the handling. So instead of going whoop straight through, like with the classic effect, I've added in this motion, which allows you to wave your hand back and forth. And this does a few things. First of all, it makes it look really slow motion and magical. But secondly, it sort of hides the cover of you moving your thumb away, right? So what's important here is that the angles. And if you look, the way I'm teaching is essentially your angles. And what you would do is say, I'm going to show you a trick, but I'll let you look over my shoulder so you can see an exposed view. And really, that's your excuse to be able to hide this, okay? So if you look, if somebody was looking straight down, like this angle, you would see how that works. But from my point of view, and from your point of view, so anyone looking over your shoulders, you can't really tell if that's on or off. And that shaking hides it. So from above, what I'm doing is, as I'm waving back and forth, as I get outwards, I'm literally just moving my finger apart and coming through the first strand, okay? But because it's like a strand of an elastic band, which is kind of like the same color as the matchstick and the angle, it almost doesn't look like it's linked through until you start to slow down. So they sort of trick their own mind in thinking that it's linked through later than it actually is. Okay, so at speed, what I'm going to do is wave, and when I'm ready, I'm going to move my thumb, link it through, and then retouch. Now it's important that when you retouch it, you to your thumb, you touch it and then tilt up and show. Okay, you don't want to tilt up and show it's not linked, right? So exposed view, it looks like this. I'm going to wave, link through, and reconnect. All right, and the same happens to go through the bottom strand, and it's nice to move the strands once it's linked to show that it is through instead of just leaving it there. So again, as I go through the bottom strand, I'm going to wave and then come through, and you can show it's linked. From your view, coming back up, I do the same thing, but this time you're going to see how good it looks. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Now if you've got a really good stick on it, you actually can keep that off the entire way down like this, which just looks crazy. But from your angle, it looks wild. Watch here. But it's nice to throw in these convincers at every step just to come through. 1, 2, show, tilt this way, which is a nice display, and then 2, and it goes all the way through. And it really is that simple. That's the entire effect. That's how it works. Like I said, some of you can do this impromptu, and some of you may need to use some sort of substance on the tip of your index finger just to make that stick a little bit harder, but that is the secret.
So that's it. I hope you guys all dug today's tutorial Tuesday. Like I said, super visual, super easy, and it's based off the classic matchstick penetration effect. I can't even remember where I learned it. I'd see in the super visual version, it's inspired from Akira Fuji's Lincoln cigarettes, but again, this is a completely very, very, very different finger placements. If you know Akira Fuji's and you know mine, then you'll know how different. I say mine, this is like based off a classic thing. I'm just changing the way it's displayed and presented. So yeah, I hope you all dug it. Tune in on Thursday. I'm hoping, if I can get my hands on one, I'm hoping that I'll be doing a live performance of the Quantum Deck by Craig Petty. So if you've been hiding under a rock, then you won't know what it is. But for all of you that do, get ready. I'm going to try my best to do a live performance of the Quantum Deck by Craig Petty to my wife Kaylee, and then she hasn't seen it before, and I only realized this when I was talking today to Craig, and I realized I can actually show this to Kaylee because she hasn't seen the trick yet, which is a rarity. So tune back in on Thursday, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're the first person to see when that video drops live. And for everyone else, thank you all so much. Share this video with your friends, get them all to learn a good piece of magic so you can keep it on them forever. It's your gift to them. And I'll see you on Thursday.